I'm Kimber Dean, co-owner of Nourish Cafe and Market, the chef and the author of Happy Food Cookbook. I'm here today to teach you how to make spaghetti squash, zucchini noodles, and vegan cashew Alfredo. So let's begin. With the oven preheating at 400 degrees, start by cutting the ends off of the squash, trying to be as flat as possible so it stands upright, and then cut down lengthwise of the squash until it's in half. And then take the ends and compost. Take a large metal spoon and start to scrape around the sides of the seeds, all that stringy inside part, as if you were gonna carve a pumpkin. And then once you get that out, go ahead and compost it or discard it however you'd like. First, we're gonna start with our avocado oil. Put half of it into one side of the squash and half into the other. And then we're gonna grab our garlic powder and do the same, half in one side and then half in the other. From there, go ahead and just start to rub the garlic and avocado oil together really well, and then spread it along the inside, and make sure you get the top of the squash too, because that is going to be part of the noodles as well. And then you don't have to rub the skin side of the spaghetti squash, just the inside, to get that seasoning on there and to get it marinating right away. Lie each half of the squash skin side up on the cooking pan without it being greased, since it already has the avocado oil on it. So take a small knife and just pierce the top of the spaghetti squash really small and far apart, about 1 inch apart. You don't want the piercings to be large or too close together, because when you start to scoop the squash out, the skin will come out with it and it'll get stuck in the spaghetti squash. Now that we have our spaghetti squash in the oven, we're going to take our zucchini, cut off the end, keep the stem part on as a handle, and then take a hand zoodler, is what we call it, and start to zoodle your squash through. So you're just going to turn it either clockwise or counterclockwise based on your zoodler, and just pull up every few inches of zoodles you get. That way when you cook with them, they're not too long. All right, make sure to discard the center of the zucchini that comes out of the zoodler and the ends, either in a compost or however you'd like, and then just set the zucchini noodles to the side for further cooking later. So go ahead and take your soaking cashews and just strain the water into your compost until all the water is strained from the cashews. So get your high-powered blender. We have a Vitamix here, and we're going to dump our strained cashews in first. Next, we're going to grab our garlic. Then we'll grab our lemon juice, followed by our sea salt. And then use a spoon to get your Dijon mustard out and into the blender. Then we'll go ahead and grab our nutritional yeast and our clean filtered water. And go ahead and make sure you put the lid on tight on your blender. Turn your blender on low setting, and then slowly turn it up to high and leave it on high for at least a minute or two. You really want to let those cashews blend so there's no chunks. Go ahead and take your lid off. Use a rubber spatula. Wipe down the sides really well to get those chunks of cashews that flew up. There might even be some on the inside of the lid. Scrape the bottom, and then go ahead and turn your Vitamix back on. We're going to check our squash by just pulling out the pan slightly, and then just press the center of one or both halves, and if it stays down, it's ready. Once the squash have cooled enough that you can handle them in your hand, take a metal spoon and just start to scrape out the sides really well. The spoon will get the sides a lot better than a fork. You can use a fork later to kind of spread the noodles apart, but a spoon's the best way to scrape it out. And just get it all out onto your cutting board. Go ahead and bring your cutting board over with your avocado oil, zucchini noodles, and spaghetti squash. placing them all into the pan. And then once you get it all in, go ahead and turn your stovetop on medium-high. Go ahead and grab your high heat spatula, one that won't melt in your pan, and just start to toss the noodles in your avocado oil. You're gonna stir occasionally, just trying to break up the spaghetti squash if it's not broken up already, and cook the noodles just until the zucchini noodles are translucent. Once the zucchini noodles are cooked through and the spaghetti squash is all warmed up, take your Cashew Alfredo, dump it over the top of the noodles, and you're just going to begin to stir this in while the heat is still on until it's warmed through. So about 2 to 3 minutes, just covering the noodles and letting that sauce warm up, and then you're done. So here's our finished product, our Cashew Alfredo sauce over our zucchini and spaghetti squash noodles. I hope you enjoy your bowl at home today. Thank you so much for checking out my video. Stay tuned for more cooking videos and recipes for us to share with you soon. Thanks.